Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Carrie Linklater, and I am your chairperson today. And I am joined on the panel by Mr. Doug Marks and Miss Adelia Del Oro, who is by Zoom. Our city assessors today are Amanda Kilbourne, Jennifer Nichols, and Candace Wright. Our administrative secretary is Belen Rojo. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. Statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the board. The board is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. And as information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record.
Sure. Madam Assessor, please state your full name. Sorry, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Amanda Kilbourne.
And you affirm the evidence you about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Applicant, if you'll please stand. Mr. Brevard, sorry, if you'll please stand. Just right there. Please state your full name.
Renee Brevard.
And you affirm the evidence you about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Bart, and morning, Ms. Kilbourne. If you're ready, if you'd like to lead us off on this property, we're looking at 671 DF Road.
Okay. This is 671 Dieppe Road. The roll number is 0100300160. The property is located in the Eric Coy neighborhood. It's a one-story single-family dwelling built in 1997. It's 1,293 square feet. It has an unfinished basement, 3 baths, air conditioning, an attached garage, a large detached garage, and a sunroom. The lot size is 29,269 square feet. The comparable properties are 744 Fairmont Road, 415 Marlton Crescent, 721 Hearthstone Road, 774 Fairmont Road. They are all in the same neighborhood as the subject, except for 415 Marlton, which is 1.5 kilometers northeast of the subject property. They're all one-story single-family dwellings built between 1960 and 2012. The comparables have finished basements, 3 bathrooms, except for 721, which has 2 bathrooms. 415 Marlton does not have air conditioning and the rest do. 415 Marlton and 774 Fairmont have a fireplace and the rest do not. 744 Fairmont has an attached garage and a detached garage. 415 Marlton has a multi-attached garage. 721 Hearthstone has a detached garage, and 774 Fairmont has a single attached garage. 721 Hearthstone has a pool, and 744 Fairmont has a sunroom. The lot sizes range from 8,892 to 21,799 square feet, and there's a traffic and bus influence for 721 Hearthstone Road. The most weight was given to comparables 1 and 2. Comparable 1, as it has a similar size lot, as well as both the attached and detached garages, as well as the sunroom. Comparable 2 was used as it is a similar age to the subject property and similar size. It does not have the large attached garage or sunroom, and the lot size is significantly smaller than the subject property. Comparables 3 and 4 are in the same neighborhood and similar sized homes, but significantly older, as most of the comparables in his neighborhood are either older or newer than him. So that's why I picked comparable 2 along with comparable 1 as being the 2 most comparable properties. I tried to set up an inspection with the homeowner or have him email me pictures, but I was unable to get him to do that. So I feel that the value of 548 should be maintained.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have any questions right now as to?
I will later.
This is the time to ask questions, though. Which
Sorry.
is just, if you wanted to ask questions of what the assessor has just presented.
Well, part of it, I'm going to answer some of the stuff as I want,
Okay,
I think.
okay. Mr. Marks, did you
No
have?
questions this time, thank you.
Ms. Dioro?
I have no questions at this time, thanks.
Thank you, and I have no questions.
Okay.
Sir, if you'd like to.
My
give
turn?
us your presentation.
Okay. When I first got in, when I first made the first phone call here to a Tanya Sharp back in February the 9th, was that 15-minute call that you get? And I asked her, have you got any comparables? She said no. Like, she just rattled off a whole bunch of addresses. They had not provided me with one address as a comparable. So this is kind of unfair what she's doing now. She's coming here and telling me such address, but never gave me one address. But I'd like to start off here. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and you'll understand why I'm pretty upset about this whole thing. I'm a carpenter by trade. Here's my dad. Okay, I'm 69 years old. I've been in construction since I've been a teenager. And by the time I was in my mid-20s, I owned my own construction company. And like I said, my experience over time is I've worked on commercial projects like built the Unicity Mall, where they make, where they make coins. The Mint, I worked at the Mint, so it's been a long time. So it's okay. And I said, my experience is like I had partnership and we were building new homes, additions, and all this kind of stuff. Like I was in my mid-20s, I went on my own. And I was a small builder, built maybe 8 to 10 houses a year. Like I have built under 100 homes. So what I'm trying to say, I've been doing this a long time. And what happened was the house at 671 DF was the last house that I built. And here was why. If you're in the construction business, things can go up and down. And I found that it was not feasible to stay in the house building business. So when I got my first assessment, back in 88. And so I went down to the assessment department here and they let me talk to the guy that was the president. And it was so out of whack. I told him, if I could get this kind of money with your assessment, I still be building houses, I'd be making a lot of money. Your assessment makes no sense to me. Did you get a chance, did they give you this copy? You've got to read it from you guys right here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll summarize that real quick, okay? When I first talked to this Tanya, and I'm going to use the comparison that I had at 77 Robindale, that was my house. That was a 2,000 square foot home, triple car garage, oak finish. That was considered a high-end home at the time. That house cost me about $180,000 to build, including the lot. The lot was like $44,000. When I built the house on Beaver Brook, I downsized. I'm getting older, so I didn't want to be hit with taxes and all that. That house cost $110,000 to build, including the lot. The lot was $25,000. It's a bigger lot than I had on DF, but it was a lot less money. It was pretty near half the price. So this is why when this Tanya, when I told her my comparison, she says, well, the difference is you have a bigger lot. And I kind of thought she would throw that at me. So then here's the comparison that I'm doing. My neighbors. I'm just going to go here. The second paragraph. It said, you have increased my 80-foot lot by 24.26%. My neighbor, 6.63, 90-foot lot, 8.37%. 655 Beaver Brook, 100-foot lot, 8.74%. 672 Beaver Road, 120-foot lot, 8.25%. So when she told me that, well, you're getting increased size a lot, and I just went comparables, like I've gone up and down my street everywhere, my assessment has gone up 24.26%. There's nobody even close. Nobody even close within the neighborhood. I didn't even find one. The worst I found was like, I think 15%. But I just wrote down all these percentages. So when she comes back and tells me that a 2,000 square foot home now on Robindale is worth less than a 1,293 square foot, I'd say you don't know what you're talking about. Because like I said, as a contractor, square footage costs money, period. Period. Square footage costs money, period. So you're trying to tell me that it makes no sense at all. These assessment guys, what they're doing, this Amanda, first of all, like I wrote in there, I hung up on her. When she called me, she kept interrupting me and I was as rude as can be. I finally hung up on her. I couldn't stand it. I said, when people talk to me like that, like I'm a senior citizen, you don't have to talk to me like that. And also, I'll make the comment here. This Tanya Sharp, which is the first lady I talked to. When I made the appointment here, and I came down here for this thing, and I asked the girl, what's with this Tanya Sharp? She says, yeah, she says, we get a lot of complaints about her. So what I'm trying to say is this. I've been conservative for a long time, and right now, for the past 23 years, I work for a Sun company. I am the designer estimator, so I still deal with pricing. And I said, I've done thousands of estimates, and one of the things that I ask all the time is, what do you pay for taxes? My poll tells me, which I've written down here, I have not found one house that's 1,294 square feet that pays the taxes that I do. Not one. I am so much higher tax than everybody else. It's nuts. And then here, like I said, you're taxing me in the 1,600, 2,200 square foot range. Someone at the assessment doesn't seem to realize square footage makes a difference. Like I said, square footage costs money, period. Like from day one, I've been overassessed for this thing. And I'm going to be making some demands today. I'm demanding that city gives me back at least $10,000. They've been, let me put it this way. If I would go to a store, take their money away from them, I'd probably go to jail. That's called stealing. And that's exactly what the city's been doing to me for the past 26 years on this. They've been stealing from me. And like I said, what she just said, she said she agrees with her 248. they haven't showed me one house that's 1,290 some square foot in that range. As a matter of fact, I got the Free Press. There's an article this from this weekend. I just it says here, Charlesville, 1255 square foot home, 3 bedroom, 2.5 baths. I mean, this is close to what my house is. 55 by 264 lot. They're asking 389. Yes.
We're looking at sales as of April 21. So that's a current paper.
This is today. Well, this is this weekend's paper. That's all. I'm just trying to show you a thing. Like her assessment of 548 to me is so crazy. It's nuts. I would say you haven't got a clue what you're doing. And I'm not sure what the qualifications of these assessment people are. I'm not sure. Well, like I said, because I've done it all my life. Design and pricing. All my life. So I don't agree at all. They're not even close. Right? They're realistic, I guess. And like I said, I downgraded. When you go from a 2,000 to 1,293 square feet, and they're telling me that 2,000, this 1,294 is more. If something's higher than the 2,000 square foot home, I say you're out of your mind. You haven't got a clue what you're doing. Well, okay, I've taken some stuff off my chest. The only thing I will tell you also is I've toned this down a lot because of my experience. Like, I mean, if a man would be trying to tell me if you were just a regular person, I hadn't got a clue with construction costs and all that, I can see how you can get away with it. But in my case, I've been doing it all my life. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Kilburn, did you have any questions?
No, I have no questions.
Thank you. Mr. Marks.
Yes. Have you done any upgrades since the house was built?
As a matter of fact, yeah, well, it's called maintenance. I had to replace my furnace last year. That's $5,000. I got to replace 5 windows this year. We've done things, okay, houses, once they reach 25, 30 years, you're going to be doing a lot of money. You're going to spend a lot of money for upkeep. And yes, I have spent a lot of money lately, just upkeep.
So it's basically maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah. Exactly.
No real upgrades to what's there. So you're upgrading windows.
Well, I'm not upgrading the broken seals I've broken. I got 5 windows I've replaced.
Broken seal. So it is a replacement due to maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
So you haven't done anything to change the structure
No.
or anything like that?
No.
Maintenance of existing.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because one thing I forgot to tell. Can I keep on going? Okay. Assessment people have been on my property twice. Okay. This is a number of years ago, and how they try and get things on you. Like, they came back and said, well, you have a bay window. And they try to say you added the bay window, and go, what are you talking about? That's how the house was built. And by them trying to tell me I added a bay window, first of all, if you know anything about construction, you'd see patching work. You're replacing a window. You'd see there was no patchwork or anything. And then I told them, look at the house plans. So what I'm trying to tell you is the assessment drive has been trying to nail me for whatever. I guess that's good for the city. The more they can take advantage of people.
Okay, one other question. What would you consider a reasonable on your property?
I should have, because it's been over assessed for 26 years. Way over assessed. That 441 should stay like that.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you very
It's
much.
just because I got from this thing right here, house comparable, but I can see something for it.
Ms. Deloro?
My questions have been answered. Thank you.
Sir, I just have a couple of questions for you. So in your letter that you sent that we're reading here, you're talking about an increase of 24.26%. Is that from your previous assessment?
Well, this is what I wrote on here. This is what I did here, I put all the percentages down. I went up and down my street. I put the percentages down, the increase. I was the highest by far. What I did, you take 548 minus 441, then divide that by 441, that gives you the percentage increase.
Right, I'm just out, okay.
That's
Do you
how
have your previous year's assessment on this?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I have to rotate this. Do you have your previous year's assessment?
With me? No.
So the 24.26% that you have written on this is not the increase from the previous year.
Well, this is when, my previous assessment was 441. I'm sorry, you know what? I should have said yes. It's on this page right here. If you look at this page, did you get this page?
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at the top, it says assessed value, that's the current one.
So your 2022 was 441.
Yes, and now they've assessed it at 548. That's an increase of 24.26%. And like I said, I've gone up and down my street in my area. There's not one house that's even close to this. The worst I found was a 15%. And this is why, like I said, if you look at all, I handed in a bunch of these things. I put a percentage increase on these. My next door neighbor are big. I bought the smallest lot in my neighborhood, my surrounding neighbors. I bought the smallest lot. I went up 24.26, and these other guys went down like 8%, went up 8%. Like it makes 0 sense.
Just to let you know, as I stated in my preamble, we don't look at assessments. We only look at sales. Those other properties.
Well, they gave me good. Okay, good.
So I know you brought assessments of your neighbors, so we just don't look at assessments.
Okay. Well, they gave me 0 sales. When I asked them for comparables back in February, and I said, what comparables do you have to justify? She says, I have none. Like she just rattled off a whole bunch of addresses. That was not given to me. Said the only thing I brought in today was, you said sales, here we go. There's one here, 300 some thousand, or about a comparable size of house.
Can you tell me about the finishings in the house?
I've got white paint trim for it. It's the low
I'm
end.
sorry, I can't hear you.
White, just a white trim.
Okay. So you don't have hardwood floors? And your kitchen and bathrooms are original from when you built it?
Kitchen's original. The bathroom I had to change. It was tiles. I had to tear it apart and put new tiles in there. I've had to renovate my bathroom because I said, once these houses get to be a certain age, you're going to be doing it. Yeah, well, I tell people, that's why I say, it costs you at least $1,000 a month just to keep a house once you pay for it.
And so you're looking for 441?
I would say my original assessment was 441. It should stay at the maximum.
That's all my questions. Thank you for coming.
That's it. Thanks very much. Okay, so now I hear from you later on. Okay. I'll just make one more comment. Like I said, there's Tanya Sharp and Amanda.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to stop there now.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll say heads to rule.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
Our next item is on Zoom, and I've admitted them to the meeting. Okay.
Next, we are going to hear 778 Beaver Brook Street. We would like to, Brandon?
Mr. Applicant, would you please state your full name?
Kyle Hutchinson.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Hutchinson. And do we still have Amanda?
Yes. Okay, so this is for.
Oh yeah, whenever you're ready. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. It's for 778 Beaver Brook Street, roll number 1207164300. The property is located in the Mathers neighborhood. It's a one-story single-family dwelling with an effective age of 1981. It's 1,100 square feet. It has a finished basement, 2 bathrooms, air conditioning, and a detached garage. A detached garage. The lot size is 6,119 square feet with a commercial influence. The comparable properties are 678 Lanark Street, 946 Beaver Brook Street, 764 Renfrew Street, and 752 Renfrew Street. They're all in the same neighborhood as the subject. They're all one-story single-family dwellings with effective ages ranging between 1978 and 1982. Their square footages range from 1,096 to 1,156 square feet. The comparables all have finished basements except for 752 Renfrew does not. They all have 2 bathrooms, except 764 Renfrew has 1. They all have central air conditioning. 946 Beaver Brook has 2 fireplaces. They all have detached garages, and the lot sizes range from 4,891 square feet to 9,309 square feet. 678 Lanark has a bus, traffic, commercial influence, and 764 and 752 Renfrew have a rail influence. The time adjusted price of the comparables range from $370.04 to $389.05. The subject property was purchased in March of 2021 for $480. And I made a recommendation to bring the value down to $424, which is $385.45 a square foot. And I believe that this should be made. This recommendation should be accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. Were you aware of the recommendation?
Yeah, I'm aware.
And did you want to accept the recommendation of $424,000?
I was hoping to present my case and get a little bit of an adjustment from that.
Okay, that's fine. We'll proceed. Ms. Kilbourne, did you have anything else to add before we move on?
Not at this moment, no.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kilbourne, Mr. Hutchinson, did you have any questions of what the assessor has just presented?
No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Marks.
No questions at this time, thank you.
Okay, and Ms. Deloro?
Sorry, can I start?
No, Ms. Deloro, did you have any questions?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Ms. Kilbourne, I just have one question for you. You've got this, you've reduced the assessment, you've got this recommendation, and you've got to better reflect the market value change. Can you just elaborate on that?
I brought him down to 424. It comes into the mid-range of, these are the comparables, 1, 2, and 3. I gave the most weight to. They're the most comparable in upgrades and renovations as a subject property. And I felt that it should be in that range. The comparable 4 does not have a finished basement, but is in the same, has the same type of upgrades as the subject property. So I felt that the 424 reflects a value that's comparable to these first three comparables.
Okay. And I note that you've got subject has a sale in March of 21.
Yes, and the sale is significantly higher than than what I've made the reduction to.
Okay. And do you have the MLS listing on the property?
I don't have it on me, but I did look at it and I did have it, yes. But I don't have it.
Okay. Can you comment on the MLS listing?
I can comment that, like the property has been upgraded. It has quartz countertops. It has upgraded upstairs and the basement. The basement is quite nice, probably better than the comparable properties. It has a built-in entertainment system. The lighting is all updated, and it has been updated compared to like a lot of the sales in that neighborhood are not as updated as this subject property. The four comparables are the most updated in his neighborhood.
Okay. So the 4 comparables have had recent.
They have upgrades as well, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The
Sorry.
comparable.
And the subject property, was the renovation just taking place in the basement?
I believe it was taking place like prior to the sale of the property in 2021.
Right. Sorry, but did it just involve the basement or?
No, the whole house. The whole house is totally renovated. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hutchinson, would you like to give us your presentation, please?
Sure. So I just wanted to start off quite quickly with the 8 properties that I used as comparables. 946 Beaver Brook Street. It was sold in the year of 2018 at a 354.58 price per square foot. 804 Waterloo was sold in 2020 at 347.34 price per square foot. 907 Campbell Street was sold in 2020 at 337.65 per square foot. 882 Bourbank Street was sold at 350.32 square feet in 2019. 531 Bourbank was sold in 2020 at 336.38 per square feet. 800 Lanark Street was sold in 2019 at 316.29 per square foot. 656 Cordova was sold in 2020 at 309.95 per square feet. And the last one is 576 Lanark Street was sold in 2021 at 356.80 per square foot. So out of these comparables, 8 of them, the average price per square foot was $338. And I did want to mention that this home, it was sold for $480,000, but it was actually grossly misrepresented by the seller. And because of this, we have communicated back and forth. And based off of the communication, we have proof, and the seller was able to give us back $10,000 for the electrical, which the quote was provided, because they said that they had upgraded the electrical throughout the house, but they did not. And we have a quote of $8,680 to fix that, plus patching and painting, which is not in the quote, but they provided us $10,000 back. There's other quotes as well, based off of our communication that we also were misrepresented with, but we don't have proof of that communication. So we were unfortunately unable to get the money back from that. I do want to mention that we haven't fixed the electrical at this time yet, so that's still pending. But the parking pad and the driveway, there was a lot of snow underneath. So at the time of sale, we couldn't really see exactly the condition of it, but we were told that it was in good condition, and unfortunately, it needs to be redone. The parking pad is very high up from the back lane, and it actually causes damage to vehicles when vehicles drive up to it. It's not at level. and the whole thing is very cracked. So it's actually quite old. So there's about a quote of $17,000 to repair that. And the attic insulation, we were told, was actually it was good, in good condition. And unfortunately, we took the word of the seller at that, and didn't fully inspect the attic. But after purchase, we inspected it, and it was actually very bare at 15%. So we do have a quote of $8,694 to bring that up to standard. Also, in regards to the basement renovations, they told us that they did a lot of insulation around the structure, but it's extremely cold and we haven't really gotten it tested, but I don't believe the insulation is actually up to par. So we haven't really gotten any quotes to fix that, but it would probably be quite extensive. And I actually don't know if I want to get quotes, because it would involve ripping up a lot of the renovations that they did. But suffice to say, the pictures look great. The walkthrough of the house looks really nice, but the handiwork done, and it was mainly done as cheap and quick as possible. The cabinetry is just IKEA cabinetry with laminate flooring in kitchen and bathrooms. The bathroom vanity is cheap, and the sliding windows that they put in are quite cheap. They do have an old furnace here. The shingles are old as well, and an old hot water tank. So it definitely, the shingles, it says on the listing that they did the shingles, or at least there's extensive renovations, but they weren't done. So the listing itself, the wording on it is quite misleading. But that's kind of what I want to say about my listing. To address the presented properties, the 946 Beaver Brook, it is one of my comparables as well. It does have 2 fireplaces. This house does not. It also has maple cabinets, and this has IKEA cabinets. And it has a large deck and a double garage. The condition of this garage is quite decrepit, and it does need to be rebuilt. But it's like it'll kind of, like when you hit against it'll kind of shake. So it's not very structurally sound. I believe it's probably as old as the house was built. So, and this house was in the 50s, or yeah. And 678 Lanark Street, price per square foot is $350, but it has built-ins, it has luxury vinyl flooring, it has pot lights in the main floor. We do have pot lights in the basement, so we don't have any in the main floor, or at least there's one, one at the entrance. And then there's also a dog run in the back with stone on the outside of the house, and wood cabinets and a large pantry. 752 Renfrew is at $370 price per square foot. It's got a custom kitchen, Hunter Douglas blinds, a new double detached garage, and a new electrical soffits, eaves, and fascia. Then there's 764 Renfrew. It has $370 per square foot, but it has a paved patio, a huge lot, newer garage, new shingles, tiled entrance, cabinet underlighting, and a fireplace, and upgraded basement insulation. So I do want to just finalize my case and just say, like, most of the homes, they got kind of like an 11% increase of value that we've done research in for 2023. This home, the value went up by 26% outside of the recommended amendment. 424, I believe the The current one that it's being recommended is 444, so that's a 26% increase, which actually coincides with an 11% increase of the previously assessed value before it was decreased. So I just want to put a bit of history around this. Last year, we were assessed at $400,000 because of the large home sale purchase price. But we did do this committee last year, and we got it reduced at an assessed value of $352,800. So it was previously approved from a decrease of roughly $50,000 to $352,000. But then this year for the 2023, it's recommended $444,000. So that's about a $90,000 increase in roughly 2 years. So we feel that it's quite large. So we just wanted to do what we found was the 11% increase with when we kind of asked around. So what we're recommending is to keep with that and do an 11% increase of the 352, which is 391,608, which is actually 356 price per square foot. So that's what we're proposing.
Okay, thank you. Lauren, did you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Del Oro, did you have any questions of the applicant? Ms. Del Oro?
He's answered all my questions at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Marks?
Yes, the comparables you used, are they similar to your home?
Yeah, they're very similar.
Same age?
Yeah, they're the exact 1950s, same age. I'm looking at all of them, yeah. All of them passed 1955 to 1959.
Okay, thank you. And on your home, you've got numerous things that have to be repaired or replaced. And what kind of a value would you put to that in total?
Well, the three quotes that I provided, it looks to be $34,000. I did not provide a basement insulation quote. That's going to be quite extensive. I mainly provided, we just had a bit of a confrontation with the seller regarding these three items. So those are what we're kind of focused on at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all my questions.
Thank you. So Mr. Hutchinson, you talked about the driveway and the garage needing repair.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch it if you had stated this, but did you get a quote on the driveway repair?
Yes, yeah, I provided the quote. The new garage is not in the quote, but the parking pad, as well as the driveway, as well as the garage floor has a very substantial crack that was kind of concealed during the winter with snow and ice. So it was very difficult to see, but the garage condition was noticed during the sale of the house. So that wasn't a part of the debate. It was more so we paid $480 with the understanding that the garage floor was in good condition, that the driveway was in good condition, and that the electrical was done properly and grounded properly, and that the attic insulation was in good condition. So those three items that we provided with, and the basement insulation, but we didn't get a quote on the basement insulation.
I'm sorry, what was your quote again?
It was 17,000.
Thank you. For the electrical.
Oh, for the driveway.
Right.
Yeah, and then it was 8,600 for the electrical, plus the patching, plus the painting, which is why we were able to get 10,000 back.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you for presenting this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a 5-minute break right now. Thank you.
Okay.
And I would like to call this hearing back to order. We are going to move on to our next property at 425 Forum Boulevard. And you're now joined by Ms. Jennifer Nichols. And
There is no one in attendance for this property.
And we are going to put 425 Forum Boulevard at the end of the docket. We will move on to 323 Hosmer Boulevard.
This applicant is on Zoom and I've just admitted them into the meeting. May I swear them in?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Assessor, please state your full name.
Jennifer Nichols.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, would you please state your full name?
Is it me now? Peter Januzzi?
Thank you. And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
This is 323 Hosmer now, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Sorry, I was getting interference with the one before there.
Okay. Ms. Nichols, would you like to start us off on this property, please?
Okay. So the subject property is 323 Hosmer Boulevard. Roll number is 10003739000. This property is in Tuxedo. It's a 2-story built in 2018. Living area of 3,498 square feet. Full basement, which is finished. 2 full bathrooms, 2 half bathrooms, 3 showers, air conditioning, and a multiple attached garage. The assessed lot size is 11,692 square feet. And the current 2023 assessment value is $1,831,000. So the comparables that I have brought today are for the most part also newly constructed, except for comparable number 3. So I guess I'll just start with comparable number 1. 14 Ike Kraut Place is in South Tuxedo, which is an adjacent neighborhood to the subject property, but a very similar neighborhood. 2-story, built in 2019, so very similar to the subject property. Living area of 3,119 square feet. So this property is smaller than the subject property. Full basement, which is finished. Air conditioning and a multiple attached garage. Lot size of 10,235 square feet. And the time adjusted sale price for 14 Ike Kraut Place was $1,713,500. Comparable number 2. Also on Ike Kraut, number 26, Ike Kraut Place, again in that adjacent neighborhood of South Tuxedo, also a 2-story built in 2020, very similar to the subject property, living area 3,324 square feet. This one is closer in size, still a little bit smaller than the subject property, full basement, which is finished, air conditioning, multiple attached garage, lot area 14,263 square feet. This property has a little bit of a larger lot, and this property does have some negative land influences, bus route and medium traffic, as well as that park influence. The time adjusted sale price for 26 Ike Kraut Place was $2,019,600. Comparable number 3, 2 Aldershot Boulevard. This property is in the same neighborhood as the subject property. It's in Tuxedo. It's a 2-story, actually built in 1964, but has had significant renovations, giving it an effective year built of 2014. Living area, 2,933 square feet. So it's quite a bit smaller than the subject property. Full basement, which is finished. Multiple attached garage. And this property also has an in-ground pool. Lot size of 10,549 square feet. This property has land influences of external corner and park. And the time adjusted sale price for 2 Aldershot Boulevard was $2,069,600. And finally, comparable number 4, 2 Ike Kraut Place in that adjacent neighborhood of South Tuxedo. It's a 2-story built in 2018, 3,435 square feet of living area. So this one is the closest in size to the subject property. It has a full basement, which is finished, air conditioning, an attached garage. This property also has a sunroom. The lot size is 11,829 square feet. Has a land influence of external corner, and the time adjusted sale price for 2 Ike Kraut Place was $1,951,200. So looking at the comparable sales that I was able to find, of course, I was looking for mostly new properties that were newly built, but in the case of 2 Aldershot, I was able to find one that, although it is an older property, it has been significantly renovated. Of course, not the same as having a home that has been newly built, but probably, pretty, still an okay comparable, just considering how many infills there are. It's not always possible to find perfect comparables. So, but the sale price, the time adjusted sale prices range from $1,713,500 up to $2,069,600. Looking at the living areas, the subject property is the largest property of all the comparables. And so I think that the current assessment of $1,831,000 is definitely reasonable considering the comparables that I was able to find. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Giannuzzi?
Januzzi, yes.
Januzzi.
Yes.
My apologies.
No problem.
Did you have any questions of the assessor?
Of the assessor?
What she just presented.
Well, I just have a comment about, thank you, by the way. Just a comment about the comparable area. So this Ike Kraut location is not similar to where I'm living in. It's a brand new development. That's still actually going through process of construction of new houses. There's no 1920 houses in that area. It's a totally different area. So that's one major thing. And most of the comparables that I see here are from there. And my apologies about the comparable and the assessment item, because I didn't have time to put comparables together as I found out about the comparable process or actually that in terms of the value of this meeting kind of last week. So I tried to put stuff together, but I couldn't. So that's my own issue. But yeah, so that's a new development, which is totally different than my area and my street for specifically, or mid Tuxedo in general, because it's my house, which is a new house surrounded by pretty much existing houses that may have had some renovations, and most on my street don't, I would say. So that's to me is quite different. Aside from that, relative to, I'm sorry, what is your name again?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, sorry, that's it. Aside from that would be my only comment for Jennifer.
Thank you. Ms. Del Oro, did you have any questions?
My questions for the assessor was pertaining to the comparables as well. As the applicant stated, it's quite a different area. So I just wanted to get a little bit more feedback from you as to why you chose those.
Yeah, so in this case, although the areas are, they're not, identical in terms of, the subject property is an infill property, so it is surrounded by older properties, but there are other properties that are, kind of slowly being, the older houses are being taken down, new ones are being put up. So, there is kind of, I think, a transition happening, or they're being renovated like comparable number 3 is a significantly renovated property in the subject area. So I think that shows, that property is quite a bit smaller than the subject, and it did sell for over $2 million. So I think that is, an indication of what the values are like in that area. But I thought it was also important to capture what a newly constructed home in that area or in nearby areas would be selling for. So I think that's why I chose to bring some comparables that were not in the subject's area, but in a nearby area. So the area itself is not identical, as I said, in terms of infill versus a whole bunch of new houses that are going up on the street. But I do think the value of having that new home is being kind of captured with those comparables. And I think I would also point out that those most of the properties on Ike Crouch did actually sell for more than the subject is being assessed for. So, maybe that's something that's also being kind of captured in the difference in the areas there.
Thank you. No further questions.
Yes, just one. What value would you put to your property at this time?
At this time, or as of, is it as of today? Is that what you're asking me?
21. April 1st, 21.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm sorry, and I will answer this question because I don't have this information. Again, I could have done a little bit better job, but I didn't bring my previous assessment. What was that at? Do you have that in front of you by chance?
No, we don't.
You don't. Okay. So to answer your question, I figured in the 1617 range is what it was selling at, like 450 to 500 a foot. So at 475, I guess that's around 1675, something like that.
Mr. Marks, did you have any questions to the assessment?
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, did you hear that? Or you couldn't hear me?
Yes, I heard that. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Ms. Nichols, I just have a couple of questions. On your comparables, are you saying, I think you said comparable number 4, you felt was your best comparable in terms of square footage and lot size?
It's definitely the closest in terms of year built, square footage, and lot size. Yeah.
Would you happen to have an MLS listing on that property?
I didn't bring one with me, no.
Okay, can you speak to the MLS listing at all?
In what regards?
Just in terms of finishings.
Oh, I didn't actually make any, no specific notes regarding the property, other than that it was similar to the subject in terms of condition. So I didn't make any specific notes about how it was finished.
Okay. So the subject property is an infill built in 2018.
Right.
Was there any inspection done on the property?
At the time that it was constructed? Let me just check my notes. Okay, there's a note about an exterior inspection. No, I'm not sure that we inspected the inside of the property. Sorry, I'm just trying to quickly read through this note. I think it was just inspected on the outside.
Do you mean like a final like occupancy inspection? Is that what you're referencing?
No, not the property and planning, like by the assessment.
Oh, your own
department.
inspection. Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that wasn't done inside. It was done outside, correct. I don't think it was done inside because of COVID at the time, I think is what was going on.
Okay. So, Ms. Nichols, you don't have any records of an inspection then?
Not an inspection on the inside of the property, no.
Okay. That's all my questions. If you'd like to proceed with your presentation, sir.
I don't have a whole lot more. I'm not going to lie. I did do really, I just looked at kind of the assessed values around the neighborhood and I was kind of everywhere I looked at the top and the peak of it. And it's part of this is just interest in how we get here. And yes, I do think it is over assessed, but I'm not unlike maybe, but just for myself, I'm not in a big panic about that. How did we get here? And this is ridiculous. That's not what it is at all. I just kind of looking for a better understanding because when I looked at the comparables assessment wise, which I know I wasn't supposed to now, I'm at the top of everything in my area. So that cluster of Mid-Tuxedo, the 6-7 streets that are just south of Cordon, in between Grant. So that to me is comparables. Like I said, this Ike Kraut area is a brand new development. So it's totally different. You know, the value of a brand new development is more appealing and holds better value than something in an area where, again, on my street, I'm the only new build. There is two that have been updated. The rest are existing older condition houses. So it's not really a comparable as far as I'm concerned. But aside from that, that's really all I have.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Nichols, did you have any questions of the applicant?
I don't really, since no comparable sales were brought. I guess just other than to ask, when you were looking, you mentioned that you were comparing assessments, which as you have found out, we don't compare assessments.
Correct.
And you found that you were the highest. And then you mentioned that you were surrounded by older houses and no infills. So do you think that might be a reason that your assessment was higher than your neighbors? Because your house is a brand new, very large home and the rest of the homes around you are older, may or may not be renovated.
No, because it's not even comparable. Like I'm at 1.8 and my neighbor's at 600,000. So it's not even, no, I didn't really do that because it's not even in the same stratosphere, right? Which I understand. But I'm just saying, no, I was more looking at like, I think I sent a list of, and this may be pointless to even talk about because as I read now and I heard, the assessment comparable is not something you look at. But I was looking at a few built around 2016 to 20, this 15 to 20 area. There is a couple, like one on the corner of Calvin and Mountbatten, which is, similar, a little bit smaller, but they're all, and I sent off the square footage pricing. They're all like around 450 to 500 a foot. And I'm at 523 or something. So that's kind of what I looked at. There's a handful of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
But none of those properties sold. They were just the assessed values.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Or I'm not sure if they did. I didn't even get that far. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Is that all your questions, Ms. Nichols?
Yep, that was all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Delora, did you have questions of the applicant?
Yes. What would you determine to be a fair dollar amount? You may have said this, but just to clarify for my notes here.
Yeah, just I think a fair evaluation of what the value of the house is the 1.6-1.7 range, which I know isn't that far off, but there's a difference there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Marks.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Sir, how much did it cost you to build your home?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I'd have to, it's top secret information. Oh, is this seriously? You'd like to know that? You know what? I'd have to go back and check, and then I'd give you like a square foot price. Is that what you mean?
Sure. Square foot price. That's
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that information off the top of my head, but I think I paid. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. I think I paid $450 for the house at the time. And then the actual construction cost, I'd have to go back and dig it up, and then I could give you a per square foot price. But I can go through that exercise if this is beneficial in the discussion and ultimately the outcome, for sure.
That's fine. What? Sorry, and just looking at your presentation,
Sure.
you have an assessed value. You have an assessment on 423 Hosmer.
On 423. Do I? Is that something I sent you? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, let me shoot. I didn't even look at that because I thought it was. Here we go. Okay, 423. Correct. 164. Yes. So that.
So is this
that
all
500 a foot? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a new build.
It's 2012, and it's also on a double lot, so it's 135 frontage.
Okay. And you've also got an assessment on 225 Lamont.
Correct. Now, yes.
And that's also a new build.
It had been renovated substantial, like Aldershot, in I think it was 2012 or 13 as well.
Okay. And what was your previous assessment?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that with me, and I should have.
Okay. Can you speak to the finishings in your home?
Yeah, it's all. I mean, the value of the house kind of speaks for itself. So it's all high end finishing inside. So what in particular? It has hardwood floors. Obviously triple pane windows. The interior finishes or exterior?
Both.
Both. Yeah, exterior has the front is probably 50% Tyndall with some EIFS and some metal siding. Interior, back to interior, aside from hardwoods, it's pretty, it's typical modern house, so it's pretty open. Standard paint, but trims are not just a regular, 3-inch MDF square mold. There is some detail on it, so it's nicer. I don't know. It's a mix of hardwood and tile, mainly, not much carpet except the basement.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have no further questions. So thank you very much for appearing this morning.
Thank you for having me, and I do appreciate it. Again, it's also, aside from what my belief of where it should be, relatively speaking, it's also good education. So thank you for the time. I do appreciate it. And by the way, I have a comment. Although somebody called me last week, I'm not sure who it was. It might have helped me if I had a little more time, but I bet you if I read the rest of this, it probably said have your comparables ready. So that's again my fault. But whoever I did speak with last week, I want you to know was pleasant and very informative. So I have no issue with that at all.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our last applicant is in person. I'll just take your information first.
Sure.
State your full name.
Gerald Paris.
And you affirm the evidence of fact, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Nichols, if you would like to start us off with 18 Exmouth Boulevard.
So the subject property is 18 Exmouth Boulevard. Roll number is 10002946300. This property is also in the Tuxedo neighborhood. It is a two-story built in 1965 with an effective year built of 1985, which reflects some renovations that were done to the property. Living area of 2,727 square feet, has a full basement, which is finished, one full bathroom, 2 half bathrooms, 1 shower, air conditioning, a multiple attached garage, and this property also has an in-ground pool. The assessed lot size for the subject property is 9,738 square feet. And the current 2023 assessment value is $979,000. The comparables that I brought for this property are mostly in the Tuxedo neighborhood, with one in the adjacent neighborhood of South Tuxedo. So I'll start with comparable number 1, 75 Folkestone Boulevard, a two-story built in 1974 with an effective year built of 1989. Again, indicating renovations that were done. This property has a living area of 2,873 square feet with a full basement that is finished, air conditioning, a multiple attached garage, and this property also has an in-ground pool. The lot size for 75 Folkestone Boulevard is 11,992 square feet, a little larger than the subject property. There are 2 negative land influences on this property, commercial adjacent and community rec building. The time adjusted sale price for 75 Folkestone Boulevard was $1,034,300. So the higher sale price for this property, I believe, indicates a higher level of renovation, as well as the slightly larger living area. Comparable number 2, 19 Car Martha Boulevard, in the same neighborhood as the subject. This property is a two-story built in 1967 with an effective year built of 1992. Living area of 2,969 square feet. So again, it's a bit larger than the subject property. This property has a full part area basement, so it doesn't have a full basement under the whole house. The basement, or the portion of it that can be finished, does have some basement finish, central air conditioning, and a multiple attached garage. And this property has a second detached garage. The lot area for 19 Car Martha Boulevard is 12,126 square feet. And this property does have a park land influence. The time adjusted sale price for 19 Car Martha Boulevard was $1,175,200. So this property has, in terms of renovations, has a renovated kitchen and bathrooms. And from the MLS photos, it looked like most of the flooring, not all, but most of the flooring have been updated. So again, that higher sale price, I believe, is reflective of the larger living area for the most part, as well as the park influence, which is a nice location. Comparable number 3, 10 Holdsworth Avenue, is a two-story property built in 1968, an effective year built of 1988, indicating some renovations were done. Living area of 2,992 square feet. Full basement, which is finished, a multiple attached garage, and this property also has a sunroom. The lot size for this comparable number 3 is 9,746 square feet, and it also has the park land influence. The time adjusted sale price for 10 Holdsworth Avenue was $1,028,800. So from the MLS description, this property has had some renovations, but there were no pictures just because the property sold quite quickly. So there were, I guess, no pictures were posted for that one. Comparable number 4, 641 Park Boulevard East. This property is in the adjacent neighborhood of South Tuxedo. The property is a two-story built in 1977 with an effective year built of 1997. Living area of 2,774 square feet. So this property is very close in living area to the subject property. Full basement, which is finished, air conditioning, and a multiple attached garage. Lot size is 10,530 square feet. In terms of land influences, comparable number 4 has external corner as well as park. And the time adjusted sale price for 641 Park Boulevard East was $968,500. So comparable number 4 was also sold, renovated. So all of the comparables have been renovated. The subject property has been renovated. In terms of renovations, I did make some notes. So the permit was taken out towards the end of 2018. Permit value was $200,000. New flooring was put on the main floor, new kitchen cupboards, quartz counters. A wall was taken down to make the home more open concept, a little more modern. Some of the exterior walls were re-insulated with spray foam. All of the bathrooms have been renovated. The last note about the renovations that I had made was that the upstairs was not yet renovated. And the basement finish is original, so the basement has not been renovated. And then, so other than that, so most of the house has been renovated with some to do upstairs, and basement is original. So considering the level of renovation of the subject property and looking at the sale prices of other renovated homes in the area, I do think that the assessment value of $979,000 is reasonable when looking at the time adjusted sale price range, which goes from a low of $968,500 up to $1,175,200. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, good morning. Do you have any questions? What the exact?
Yes, I do have a few. First one is just for clarification. Do I have to point anyway to get my speaker okay? What's the difference between year built and effective year built?
So year built is the original, like actual year built of the property. So when the house was actually constructed. And effective year built is a way to measure the level of renovation in the property. So it could include things like renovated kitchen, bathroom floorings. May also capture things like redoing insulation in exterior walls, redoing electrical and plumbing in older houses, anything that's really bringing up the bringing up the level of renovation to a more modern, like standard for the home.
In addition, previously there was 4 comparables that were provided. The lowest value were deleted and replaced with your new comparable number 2 and number 4. Could you explain why that was done?
Are you referring to the sample comparables provided on the website?
Yes, the sample comparables in February are different than the comparable that are presented today.
Okay. Yeah, so the sample comparables from the website, when you log into your My Properties, those are just computer generated based on what the computer, I guess, thinks is most similar in terms of characteristics to your property. When I'm preparing for an appeal on a property, I look for my own comparables and try to look into, MLS listings and other information to get the comparables that are most similar to the subject property.
On your comparables, they have, depending upon the comparable, either 2 or 3 full bathrooms. Do you know if one of those full bathrooms is in the basement of those properties?
I don't know where the location of each of the bathrooms are. No, sorry.
So do you consider a 3 full bedroom bathroom comparable to a 1 full bathroom home?
3. I'm sorry, can you say that again? 3. Oh.
Do you feel a home with 3 full bathrooms is comparable to a home with 1 full bathroom?
So I think overall, more bathrooms is better. I'm not sure that the difference between a full bathroom and a half bathroom would be a significant difference for a home. So your home has 3 bathrooms in total. The comparables, looks like most of them have 4 bathrooms in total. I don't think I would say that that extra bathroom would be something that would significantly impact the value of the homes. No.
Yeah, the comparables sheet that has been provided to me, comparable 1 has 6 bathrooms, comparable 2 has 6, comparable 3 has 5, comparable 4 has 6.
So the bottom number, so the first 2 numbers are bathrooms, full bathroom and half bathroom. And then the last number is the number of showers that are separate from the bathtub. So for example, your property has 1 separate shower stall. The comparable number 1 has 2 separate shower stalls. Comparable 2 has 2, and so on.
Right. And in our particular property, the shower stall does not have a tub in that bathroom, so it is not a full bathroom.
Yeah, so that's the same as the comparables. Yeah, so the comparables, the showers is just indicating where it's a separate shower stall as opposed to a tub shower combo.
But a different room, correct?
Not necessarily. It could be the half bathroom that has a separate shower stall, or it could be an ensuite that has a tub as well as the shower stall. I couldn't say for sure.
Okay. I guess my point there is that in these particular properties that are comparables, they do have separate facilities in 6 different locations, where ours only has 4. And one of those is a 2-piece bathroom made in 1965 in the basement.
Separate facility.
All of your comparable properties, 2 of them I saw in the MLS when they were listed. The 2 that were just added that I received on Friday, the information, I have not had a chance to see them online. But of the other comparables, there is living quarters in one of them in the basement with a full bathroom, completely refinished to current day standards. I believe the other property, 75 Folkestone, is the same thing. The other 2 properties, can you speak to them as to whether it's a fully renovated, recently renovated basement? Is there living quarters in it? And is there full bathrooms in the basement?
I didn't make any specific notes about what exactly was in the basement in terms of bedrooms or bathrooms.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I don't think your comparables are comparable. 19 Car Martha is a fully renovated exterior building, as well as with very nice rock work on the outside. It's, I don't know if it's tinstone or what, but it's a beautiful rock work.
Excuse me, Mr. Murray.
Yes.
I just want to stop you there. You are welcome to speak to all of that during your presentation because it's not direct questions at this point.
Well, the only direct question I've got is on the comparables is I don't think they're comparable. I'm trying to find out from the assessor as to why the assessor feels it's comparable. When exteriors have been completely renovated and mine has not been.
Right. That's what you can speak to during your presentation.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Ms. Del Oro, did you have any questions of the assessor?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marks?
My questions have been answered. Thank you.
Ms. Nichols, I just want to know, what is the increase in this neighborhood from the previous assessment?
I'm not sure that I have the average increase in front of me. Did you want me to find it?
If it's readily available?
Okay, the average increase for this area was 6%.
I have one other question. You've included 641 Park Boulevard East, which is located in South Tuxedo. And I'm just wondering why you included that property as a comparable.
So when I was looking for comparables, it's, you know, as nice as it would be to be able to find comparables that are, you know, exact same square footage, exact same area, everything the exact same. That's just not always possible. And in this case, I wanted to find a comparable that was similar in size, as well as renovation to the subject property. So that's how I ended up going to an adjacent neighborhood for that last comparable.
Okay. And so out of your 4 comparables, which one do you feel is the best?
Well, I think comparable 4 is a good comparable, similar in renovation and size, but it is, as mentioned, in an adjacent neighborhood. So I think that comparable 10 is also a good comparable. I think, as I mentioned in my presentation, comparables 1 and 2 I would consider to be superior comparables in terms of renovation. So yeah, I think 3 and 4 probably the closest in terms of renovation, and then size for comparable number 4 as well.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify. You just said comparable 1 and 2 are superior?
Yeah, so comparable 1 has been completely renovated, so it's definitely more highly renovated. It does have a negative influence though, which would, you know, bring the value down, that commercial adjacent. But yeah, the level of renovation is superior for that comparable for sure. And comparable number 2, I had made a note that the kitchen and bathrooms have been renovated, which is similar to the subject property. And I had also noted that most of the flooring has been replaced in comparison to the subject property, where the second floor has not yet undergone renovations. So it's superior in that way.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Mr. Harris, would you like to give us your presentation?
Yes, I guess I'm not going to completely read what I've already presented because I think it's self-explanatory. I'd like to hit a few highlights on comparable properties and non-comparable properties. Comparable 2 is a completely renovated exterior. Our property does not have any work done other than it's been painted about 4 years ago. Comparable 2 as well has a 2.5 garage that's attached. It also has a double garage, separate, detached, with living quarters above it. The concrete work on the driveway and through the property to the unattached garage has all been brand new. The landscaping is 100% new as well. I don't think that is even close to being a comparable of any sort. 641 Park Boulevard, as I'm aware, and I imagine some of us in the call are also aware, Park Boulevard is one of the more prestigious streets that premiums are paid to live on Park Boulevard. It is also a corner lot. It has more bathrooms, full as well as halves, than we do. In addition, the basement has been renovated, I think, as the assessor has mentioned. In comparable 1 and 2, also the basements have been fully renovated, as the assessor has mentioned, which in our case, we have a 1965 finished basement that is very old, showing its wear badly, and would not be a selling feature, would reduce our sales price. The lot sizes that are being looked at as well, comparable 1 is 25% greater in square footage on the lot size than ours. Comparable number 2 is 24% greater than ours. 10 Allsworth is approximately the same size of lot. The 641 Park Boulevard is 8% larger than ours, but it is also a corner lot. My view is I don't think the comparables that have been presented are comparable. What I had prepared back in February, getting ready for the conference call with the assessor at that point in time, was I went through the neighborhood and I looked at comparables, just looking for something around 2,700 square feet, which is the size of our home. There's very few, I think, as the assessor had mentioned, it's exactly 2,700. So what I did was I looked for properties that were plus and minus 200 square feet from my property. In other words, 2,500 to 2,900. I then looked at the time-adjusted sale value that was on the website. Summarize that. I included as well at that point in time the 4 properties that were shown as comparable to my property at that point in time. Again, 2 of those are repeated today. 2 of them were different, which have been deleted, which were both, by coincidence, less valuable than the ones that were replaced. But in either case, at that point in time, I didn't think the comparables were comparable, again, for similar reasons. Then I also looked through 2018 sales, got the time-adjusted value from the website, further time-adjusted that to try to bring it up to 2021, using the time-adjusted rate the city had on their website of 8.25%, to come to a new 2021 time-adjusted square footage assessment. Because the size of the homes did vary, I did the same thing as the assessor has done and looked at a square footage basis as to what the average time-adjusted sale value was per square foot of 31 properties that I looked at. And I've come up and basically concluded that the reassessed value that I have on the property that was reassessed in January of 2022, where my property value went from 740,000 up to 794. The 31 comparable properties that I presented, again, support the 794 reassessed value, which was recently reassessed January 2022. Without going into more detail as to why I don't think some of these are comparable, that's really the gist of my view of trying to get comparable properties to come up with a realistic increase in property tax assessment value, mainly because the assessed value has gone from 740,000 up to 979,000, which is approximately a 32% increase, which I don't think is fair and I don't think it's reasonable.
Thank you. Ms. Nichols, did you have any questions of the applicant?
I do. So, okay, so I'm just looking at the page that shows the time-adjusted sale prices. So I just wanted to clarify the calculation on the right side of the paper there. It says 4 sample comparable properties. Is that what you feel the value should be? $332 per square foot?
I'm trying to find that $332 square foot. I don't see it on my presentation.
just on the second last page that you provided, where it has the list of all the comparable properties, the addresses, I think you mentioned plus or minus 200 square feet, that you provided a list. I'm just looking at the top, the 2021 sales.
Yes.
And then on the right of that table, it says 4 sample comparable properties provided by city, and it has a price per square foot at the bottom there of $332 per square foot.
In the right-hand column in the information I provided, the overall average is 289 square feet for the 31 properties. 289 per square foot. So
so that was overall, including the 2018 sales. So I'm just looking at the 2021, the sales with the 2021 reference date.
the average,
Just that top section.
the average
okay,
of
so-
the 17 properties in 2021 was 291,000.
Okay, so-
$291 per square foot.
And is that the value that you feel would be reasonable for your property?
Actually, I'm proposing that it go up a little bit from that to 800,000 for the property.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking 800,000. Okay,
The current assessment is 794.
right. So you're basically thinking that the value shouldn't go up really at all, that the previous assessment is 794 and your current assessment should be 800,000?
Yes, because that was a $54,000 increase. That was an interim increase, and the reason for the increase, as stated on the property tax reassessment, was interior renovations, which is true. So I'm saying that the amount that was previously reassessed is fair and reasonable, and it should stay at that amount.
So no accounting for an increase in the market between April 1st, 2018, which is when the $794,000 assessment would have been based, and April 1st, 2021, which is when the 2023 assessment. So not really any increases.
I believe that's the reason for using the time adjusted value.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, because the 2022 assessment is $794,000, I believe you said. And so proposing an increase for your property up to $800,000 for 2023, which is based on a reference date that is 3 years after the 2022 value, is really not much of an increase. I'm just wondering if you're proposing that the market hasn't really increased.
If I did not receive that $794,000 reassessment, the previous property tax value was $740,000. So what I'm saying is that I think $740,000 to $800,000 is fair and reasonable for the 2023.
Okay, so not really based on the market then, just on the increase.
No, I'm basically, what I did was I compared the time adjusted value for 2021 on comparable properties. That coincidentally is fairly close to what was reassessed in January of 2022. I didn't know that reassessments happened throughout a year, but obviously it did, because I did get a reassessment, which increased the value of my property $54,000.
Right. After the renovations were taken into account.
Correct.
Yeah. So just going back to the comparable sales that you provided, and I'm just focusing on the first half, the 2021 average sales. Do any of these sales, are any of them renovated? Like your property is renovated?
I do not have access to MLS, as you're well aware, so I went to the city's website to get this information. I'll just scan through the addresses to see if I've seen any on MLS. 427 Borum is fully renovated. 75 Folkestone, obviously, I believe, but this is a guess, because I can't remember specifically, and I know I'm under oath, but 27 Car Martha, I believe, has been fully renovated. 10 Holsworth, as you suggest, has been fully renovated. 22 Stockton, I can't speak to that one. I don't know. So of the limited amount of availability that I have to MLS listing, which is simply when I see a property go up for sale in the neighborhood, like any other person, I go to the website to take a look at the house, and that's how I get the information. And in particular, 19 Carmarthen is one of those ones that I did that with. So I know exactly what's been done in that home. It's not even close to being comparable.
Okay.
You also spoke to spray foam insulation being put in our home. That is correct. The reason for that is when you got a kitchen and you've got a family room, they take it right to the studs, so you have to put new insulation in. So spray foam insulation was what was recommended by the contractor, and that's what we did. You also mentioned one wall being taken out. That is correct. But that was a wall in which a fireplace was present. The fireplace needed substantial renovations. The decision my wife and I made was to take out the fireplace, and in so doing, that took out that wall between the kitchen and the family room, which is approximately a 15-foot wall. In the renovated properties that have been used for comparison that you've provided, two of those properties in particular that I've seen have had a lot more than one 15-foot wall being taken out when a fireplace was removed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I'm just going back to the comparables and tried to make note of some of the addresses that you noted. It looks like those properties had the higher sale price per square foot, which I guess would make sense considering that they were renovated. Like your property was renovated. Because some of the lower ones must be probably the unrenovated properties. So I would just point out that that's probably an important distinction between properties that have been renovated and properties that have not been renovated when looking at the sale prices. But I think that was all of the questions that I had. Thank you.
That's also why an average was taken.
But an average that includes properties that have not at all been renovated.
I don't know. I don't have access to MLS.
Ms. Deloro, did you have any questions?
Yes, just one. So does your property require any substantive renovations at this time? I know you mentioned the basement. Could you perhaps elaborate on the items that require attention and maybe give an estimate, or I don't know if you've obtained estimates as to what it would cost to perform?
I have not got any estimates on the basement. I don't want to shoot from the hip because I found that if I try to make an estimate compared to what a contractor is, my estimate's a lot lower for what the construction costs would be. To tear out the existing basement, put in some type of flooring, because right now it's just 8x8 tiles, which half of them are probably missing on top of concrete, which is not the current standard. You'd have to put in new flooring, new lighting, new walls. Most places, when they're renovating a basement, put in a full bath, there's only a small 2-piece powder room in the basement as it exists now. All I can tell you is I would think that renovation would be significant in dollar value. How much it would be, I can't tell you exactly, but I know it's significant. On the main floor, we did put in a new kitchen. We put luxury vinyl tile, not the 4-inch hardwood like most of these places are showing right now. In particular, 75 Folks on 19 Car Martha are showing hardwood floors throughout. We do not do that. We put in luxury vinyl tile, which we continued out of the kitchen into the 2-piece bath on the main floor of the powder room. Living room, dining room are carpeted. Carpet has to be replaced. Obviously, painting and decorating, other than in the kitchen and family room, painting and decorating needs to be done on the main floor in the living room and dining room. Going upstairs, we have 4 bedrooms. On the comparables, I don't know how many bedrooms there are. There doesn't show on the stat sheet I received. We have 4 bedrooms. 3 of them have been untouched. Need painting and decorating. Needs updating in the all the baseboards and things like that. The master bedroom has been painted. No work has been done on the floor or the, there've been no renovations other than just decorating. There is a ensuite off of the master bedroom, which has a shower stall in it, a toilet, and 1 sink. The full bathroom on the 2nd floor as well has been redone. It has 2 sinks, a bathtub, which obviously has a shower in it. The shower facilities in the bathtub, not separate, and a toilet. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Mr. Marks?
My question's been answered, thank you.
Mr. Paris, can you tell me exactly when your renovation took place? What year?
Well, it started pre-COVID, 2018. It ceased when COVID hit. That's why the painting and decorating and the balance of the house has not been done. But that was what was planned, is that it would just be painted and decorated. We're not planning, looked at blowing out any of the walls to give a more open concept. It's the older style where you have everything's enclosed, every room's enclosed. And it has not started up since COVID due to a number of issues, a couple of operations with my wife and stuff like that. So we haven't been able to start again. We're hoping this summer/fall to complete the painting on the main floor and replacing the carpet.
But your kitchen and family room were completed.
They were completed, that is correct. And the powder room on the main floor.
And can you just speak to the finishings in the kitchen? You stated you had the vinyl part or vinyl flooring, but do you have quartz or marble
Yes.
countertop?
Quartz.
Quartz.
Wood cabinets that are painted, sort of a beige gray color. Then there's an island. There's no eating area other than that island. Previously in our home, there was an eating area in the kitchen. We eliminated that and put in an island instead.
And you eliminated your fireplace.
Correct. Because I eliminated the fireplace, I had to change from a hot water heater that was gas to an electric hot water heater. The electrical system was not upgraded. The electricians did put in a larger panel with more circuits on it, but the electrical service is identical. And that was just done for ease. But electricians to have separate circuits for like the stove and things like that.
Right. And what was the cost of your kitchen family room now?
The cost of the kitchen, I'm going to go a bit from memory, but the kitchen, family room, powder room, full bath in the ensuite shower stall. And we also replaced the railings from the main floor up and refinished our stairs. We did not replace them, we just refinished them. We also replaced the windows in the house completely because again they were leaking and seals were broken. But I don't know if that's maintenance, whatever. But anyway, the total of that was in the range of about $200,000.
Okay. That's all my questions, and thank you very much for coming.
Okay.
Appreciate your patience being at the end.
Okay, not a problem. I didn't know the timing, but that's okay. The only other thing I'll mention about the windows, I don't consider the windows a renovation. It's more of a repair, as you mentioned earlier. Is that it? Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll just take a 5-minute recess. And I would like to call this hearing back to order. And we are going to look at our last property at 425 Forum Boulevard. And we do not have an appearance by the applicant. Do we have the assessor?
It is, yeah.
All right. That's fine. We'll go back into recess to wait for our assessor, Ms. Nichols. And I would like to call this meeting back to order. We are going to hear the last item in our docket, 425 Forum Boulevard. And we have no appearance from the applicant. Ms. Nichols, did you have any contact with the applicant?
I had attempted to contact the applicant. I called, let me just grab my notes here. I called and left a message on August the 10th as well as August the 11th. And I sent an email that same day, August 11th as well. And I did not hear anything back from the applicant.
All right, thank you. If you would like to proceed and
Okay.
read the property into the document.
Okay. The subject property is 425 Forum Boulevard. Roll number is 10003552500. The comparable sheet lists the all of the characteristics for the property as well as the comparables that I chose today. And so the current 2023 assessment value is $589,000. This is at the low end of the comparable properties that I brought today, and I do feel that the comparables support the assessed value. Thank you.
And I thank you. Panel members, any questions, Ms. Dior?
Nothing from me. Thanks.
Nothing from me, thank you.
And I also have no questions. Thank you for your time today, Ms. Nichols.
Okay, thank you.
And this concludes this hearing. And we are adjourned. Thank you all.